Hello everybody that watches the YouTube. Welcome back to Junk Bucket Garage. Today we're going to work on this thing. This is the one I drive to work every day. And seeing as how we live in Northern California, it needs to do two things. Get me to work and keep me cool. And the air conditioning is not doing the keeping me cool thing like it should. So here's the problem. It's getting cold, but the air blowing out of the air blowifier holes is kind of like an old asthmatic man is wheezing on me. There's almost nothing coming out of it. So I did the thing that everybody would have done, and I replaced the blower motor. And that didn't help at all. So I'm actually thinking that, seeing as how when you buy new aftermarket parts they don't work very well, I'd like to go back and put the OEM part in. It's probably built better. But now we got to figure out why no air is coming out of those vents. And that's not going to be fun. Okay, so here's what we're looking at today. I got to get into here somehow where all of these pipes and hoses connect, and inside there is the evaporator. Is that what it's called? The expandifier, the thing that makes the cold happen. So basically inside here is a big radiator looking thing, and it gets really cold, and then this whirlybird pushes air through that, and just like a radiator works on an engine, except for not quite, as the air blows through all the little vent tube holes that are in that thing, it picks up the coldness inside of that and pushes it out into your face. Well, seeing as how I know the blower motor works, because I've changed it now and it's still doing the same exact thing, I'm thinking in the process of troubleshooting here in my brain, it's getting cold. I know it's getting cold because cold air is coming out. The cold air just isn't blowing very hard. I think all of these tubes and plates and fins inside this evaporator are plugged up. Either a mouse made a nest in here, or there is no filter in these Super Duties with the diesel flavored engines, which is awesome. Thank you, Ford. And it's just picked up dirt and dust and dog hair and human hair and cat hair, and it's plugged all of those fins up so that no air can go past them. And after doing a bunch of science, I found out that if no air can blow through something, then no air gets out the other side. It's amazing how that works. I have to get in there somehow, and yeah, I think it's going to be easier than it looks. I think if I take my time and just remove things one piece at a time and move stuff out of the way, like this vacuum canister, this charge pipe, this vacuum pump, pull this motor out, take this doohickey off, and then I think it's just going to be a matter of wedging my big old sandwich clamps around in here and getting all these little bolts off to split this case in half, and then I should be able to move this around enough where I can clean all those plates and fins out and tubes and geometries and get a little bit more air blowing into my face. I hope. Here we go. Now bear with me, YouTube people. I have a new camera, and hopefully the sound quality is better, and you can see my ugly face better. Alright, we've got almost everything apart that we need to get apart, and I pulled this blower motor out so that I could see and do things on this other side, and I'm looking down inside of here, and I'll be darned if I don't already see some pluggage in there. It don't look like it's bad enough to really stop the air that much. But we're gonna give it the old try and see what happens. I think if we could just get this to move up and over a little bit, we'll gently try to wiggle this thing around and see what we can't come up with here. Here we go. I'm tech savvy enough for that yet, baby.
It's a button.
Yes, but it's a button that does things. Nice and gentle like. That did not work. Okay, so we got that apart. We're getting down inside there. It is pretty dirty. I think I already got some good shots of that. It doesn't look like it's dirty enough to stop the air that much, so I'm definitely going to put the OEM fan back in it and see if that gives it more beans. I know that this is a vacuum ran system, so if this don't work, then I'll check some blend doors and things like that. But it definitely needs cleaned. I'm not going to film that part, but I will let you know. I'm just going to get some soft brushes, some kind of detergent soap, maybe some Dawn dish soap and water, or some degreaser. And then I'm actually, since it's out here in the engine compartment, I'm just going to use the sprayifier on a hose and spray through all of this and make sure it's good and clean. And then we'll put all this back together, put the old fan back in, and see how the blowing is. So after some deliberations and considerations and mathematicals, I decided I've already got this thing most of the way out. If you look at it, it's dirty. It's pretty bad dirty. And I don't know if somebody has tried to work on this before or what, but most of this, all of this damage, I didn't do. That was just all smashed and banged up already. It wasn't leaking, but I already had it apart enough. I just went ahead and broke the seal on the system. I'm just going to replace it. Now they said they didn't have this valve in stock, and yeah, that thing is done for. It is dirty, 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 and plugged up solid. And if you want your air conditioning to work good, I guess maybe that shouldn't be like that. Well, now I get to buy a bunch more coolant, I guess. All right. So there's definitely spots down there where those two screws are supposed to go. Right. Can you just hold that real quick?
What are you looking for?
I'm trying to hold this too.
Okay, I can hold them both.
Ow. That's where my head goes.
Did it come with that part?
Yes. And two of these screws on the bottom of this box weren't there. I think somebody gave up on trying to put them back in. So I'm gonna have to. got that reinstalled. Everything's good to go. I'm not doing any fancy stuff. I got some cheap Harbor Freight vacuum pump and AC gauges. All I'm going to do is pull a vacuum on this system. Make sure we boil out any water and moisture that got in there after we broke it open. And also that vacuum helps you when you first open your can of charge to suck it down in the system and start getting things rolling. It's pretty simple, comes with instructions. You just hook it up and vacuum on it. Let's do it. Since this is an air-powered vacuumer, it's really loud and whistly, so we're probably going to shut the camera off while we do this so that you don't have to hear that annoying sound. Okay, so we're ready. We got a vacuum pulled on this system. We got all of our new parts in place. Now it's time to charge it. So, the procedure is pretty simple. You hook this up to the low port on your air conditioning side. Then you set all your air conditioning dials to maximum AC, maximum coldness. Start the vehicle, and then pull the trigger. I think they want you to just hold it straight up and down. I always alternate between upside down and up and down because it makes me feel like I'm doing something important. That's got all the air now. That's way better than it was. Nice and chilly. All kinds of air pressure coming out of it. And another problem I was having with this truck before was that when you would sit at a drive-through or at a stop sign or a stoplight and the truck was idling, the AC would shut off. It's sitting here idling now, and by watching that gauge on that can as it was filling, once it got up into the green where it was charged, the pump wasn't shutting off and turning on and shutting off and turning on anymore. And it's just steady cold air blowing at an idle. So I think we got her whooped. It was a little more money and a little more work than I was expecting it to be, but we've been having 108-degree days, like multiple days in a row out here, so air conditioning is a must. It's working good.
Much better. This is the best it's ever been since the truck.
Alright, that's going to do it for Junk Bucket Garage. Sometimes you got to work on your daily driver stuff. It's unfortunate. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe, and help a guy out. We'll keep doing these projects. Take care.